It's a brand new season for the East Coast Bullbars Australian V8 Utes Series and a brand new pole sitter. Armour all pole position going the way of West Aussie Reece McNally. He's out there in the Stratco Ute. He was extremely excited to take his first ever pole for the Cedars racing team. And I'm extremely excited to have Paul Morris, the dude, the Bathurst champion, back alongside me in commentary. These guys, Paul, always entertaining.
Always entertaining. We saw in qualifying, no one leaving anything on the table, everyone having a big go. So amazing crowd here on the ground for a Friday. I don't think anyone's at work today here in Adelaide.
This should be an unofficial long weekend, I reckon, when we get down here. We're just about ready to go for the first race of the championship. Can't wait to see how this one's all going to pan out. It'll be across just 8 hotly contested laps, and the Mercury still creeping up here in Adelaide. Like I said, a brand new pole sitter in the championship. He's extremely excited to be ready for a whole new season, and we are excited to say that we've got Kylie King down to the grid to chat to him.
Reece McNally, pole position the first time for you. Hey, there's no one in front of you, buddy. This is going to be fun. Don't waste it.
Yeah, it's a pretty awesome feeling to have clean track in front of you. So, yeah, fingers crossed we get a good start and we'll be off and racing and see where we end up.
Worried about those concrete walls, mate?
No, not really. I mean, loose is fast around here and you really got to lean on the concrete to, get the most out of yourself in the car. So, it's pretty warm today. The weather's definitely turned it on. So, no, looking forward to it.
Go get it. Enjoy.
Thank you.
Well, the man that he'll be starting alongside is the reigning champion. He's back in the Renko Ute. He put it all on the line, like he said, in qualifying yesterday. Unfortunately, went into the fence. And the rumour is, and I wonder if Kylie might be able to elaborate, that they're being very secretive about it, that he might have lost a tyre or two out of his tyre set, which is going to make the charge for this guy a lot more dangerous this weekend, Kylie.
Absolutely. Chris Walton, you've already danced with those concrete walls in qualifying. It cost you pole. Is it going to slow you down?
No, we're going to give it all we got here. We need to get back on that pole spot. So we'll see how fast we are here and get ready for this reverse grid race, the second one. We'll just try and get through.
You really do have to dance pretty close to these concrete walls. That's the problem in these utes, isn't it?
Definitely, that's the key to getting a fast lap around here. You've got to use the whole track. So if it means rubbing on the walls, well, that's what we've got to do.
Enjoy it.
Thank you.
Our series champion in a category that saw 65 entries last year. And in the end, he was the champ, Chris Walton. Okay, here we go. Qualifying highlights. It all came down to a battle between two. And the local charger of Craig Dontis was pushing to the absolute maximum.
Big commitment there. Big commitment.
And what a place to be doing it.
Yeah.
Turn 8 is not the place where you want to get sideways. We've had issues all through the weekend. Fishtail, Andrew Fisher jumping up over the curbs. Fane in the 41, off and into the gravel trap. Very easy to do, isn't it, that corner?
You're going to see the big error here out of all these guys is locking front brakes, and that's what caught the killer out in his shootout lap as well. So track's rubbered up a bit since qualifying with all the main game cars out there laying some Dunlop rubber down, so should be a bit better for him.
This guy is back for another big year. He won 3 rounds last year and the Holidays for Life entry. Paul's excited to know what a $99 holiday would get him. Apparently it gets you plenty, and this guy was the man, Storm McNally, that would take pole position in a very unusual top 2 shootout. He pushed it to the very limits in his one hot lap. He has put a scratch down the side of the ute, but at the end of the day, he got $1,000 thanks to Armour all to pay for it. He put down a fairly competitive lap, which Chris Walton had to go on better. The thing about this guy, he only knows one way. It's 100% attack, or he doesn't even bother.
He had a go. Got 3 corners out of it.
He was either going to get pole position or bin it. Unfortunately, it was the latter.
And that tyre is wounded, and that'll be one of his race tyres for sure. So he's going to be suffering later on in the weekend for sure out of that.
Yeah, he managed to light it back up and get going, but the damage is visible. And the team said that they had to have water and bread for dinner last night because they didn't win the $1,000 thanks to Armour all. But off the front row, he's going to be a very good bet in the first race of the weekend. So this is how they line up for the first race of the East Coast Bullbars V8 Ute Series, and it's McNally and Walton off the front row. And something different this week, Paul, all the Holdens on one side of the grid behind McNally, all the Fords on the other side behind Walton.
Very tribal, so the tribe's going to go to war.
I like that. Marjoram, as a result of that, has jumped up 2 or 3 grid spots. He was the big winner out of all that.
Yeah, Ryle missing out, so he was fast, knocked back to 4th because of the qualifying order here.
He would have had a front row start.
Sure.
There's no points awarded in this race. This is a qualifying race to set the grid for the final 2 ones, which will be awarded 70 points each. Cam Wilson, I imagine he'd be a tired man after completing a 24-hour go-kart race.
Bash, up on the GC.
In order of raising awareness for Huntington's disease, which is something that claimed his father this time last year. He also rode off a ute in the qualifying session with Jordan Skinner this time last year. Thankfully, both Skinner and Wilson are ready to go on race day, something that they weren't ready for last year.
So the big thing is how people are going to be aggressive. No points on the line. As you say, it's just all for qualifying positions.
Lee Nicolau, he was suffering from awful understeer in his rookie season. We saw Phil Woodbury win the Wonder Paints Rookie of the Year award last year. Lee Nicolau, one of a couple of different rookies who put their toe into the water in 2015. This guy got his breakthrough podium at this event last year. It's Craig Dontis, local guy who helps organise this event.
Yeah, very involved with the high-flying stadium trucks.
And that shows you just how organic these cars are.
The thing won't run without it. So.
These things are pretty close to what you can actually buy on the showroom floor. Andrew Fisher, who's had a change of team but keeps the same sponsor. The big fella upstairs is back for another big year with Andrew Fisher.
With him.
Hello, buddy.
How are you, mate?
One of 4 onboards that we can show you, and he's very relaxed ahead of what's going to be a big campaign in 2015. He's a former race winner here. Actually, he's won 3 separate races across the board. Turn 8, always a place to watch out for.
It is up to, what, 180 Ks coming in there in a ute. Big, heavy car, small tyre, maximum commitment. As Reece was talking about in qualifying, to go fast, you've got to get close to the walls, and we saw that with him.
We're talking about a car that weighs over 1,800 kilos, has about as much downforce as a brick, to be honest. These things have no aero.
Very unique driving style to get the most out of the cars.
They've got a brake pedal, which is more similar to that of a road car than a V8 supercar.
Yeah, so it still has a brake booster, all your standard braking components from the road car, and a big racing caliper and a big race brakes on it. So very gentle pedal pressure required to pull the car up. So it's different. You know, you think you push the pedal harder and the car's going to stop, but with this setup it doesn't. You just got to breathe on the brake pedal.
All they end up doing is just locking the tyres and skating on forward.
Lock the tyre up, lose the steering, and then end up hitting the very thing you're trying to avoid. So it's definitely a unique race car for sure.
And definitely a unique format this weekend with all the Holdens on one side and all the Fords on the other, celebrating 15 years of Holden versus Ford in the V8 Utes. We will be seeing some new manufacturers come into the fray, kind of like we will maybe in the future of V8 supercars with the Gen 2 car, and rumours of other manufacturers coming into our sport as the windows go up and the heat rises.
Maximising the aero drag. Line the windows up.
It's about all the aero you've got, just winding the windows up. And it's going to be a hot day in the office for 8 laps around here. And reminding you that David Cedars was the man to beat last year. I'll also throw this one at you, Paul. Last season, whoever won the first race won the round at every single race last year.
So the killer's determined to win this race. So obviously he's a statistics guy.
It pays to win the first race. Whoever won the first race last year would go on to win race 3. Hashtag V8C if you want to join in at home. It's time to go racing. The East Coast Bullbars V8 Ute Series for 2015 is in the starters' hands. Walter to the left. McNally gets the jump on the board though. The Stratco Ute will lurch forward from the outside of row 1. He'll be a clear leader. It's a great start, Paul. On the way down to the centre chicane, Walton swings in front of his good mate and fellow Queenslander Royal Harris. A few guys are going to take the curbs. It's the obvious choice. Teammates battling for 3rd position. A couple of Erebus cars as everyone files their way through turn 1 cleanly.
Yeah, very clean start, so everyone knows they've got a long weekend ahead of them. Some great heads-up driving by the whole field.
That was Pretty going side by side with Kim Jane. Pretty, the event winner back here in 2013, as the Snake winds its way through. Peter Burnett looked to be making contact with someone up the inside at turn 5. Bit of a hip and shoulder, fair bump play on. Feed the power on, jump the curbs at 6, and here we go. In approach of 180 kilometres per hour, and it's Reece McNally, the winner of Bathurst last year, needs to put his eyes down and focus on cold tyres.
He's committed, he's committed.
Love that shot. It's power and aggression on approach down towards turn 9. Anyone going to be brave enough to throw it up the inside? No. Andrew Fisher will. He's trying to make up a few more spots, and he's side by side with Peter Burnett a bit further back. Looks to be a clean lap so far. Adam Mardram is into 4th position. He started on the 2nd row. He remains where he started. And Ryle Harris jumped up to 3rd.
So McNally's quick in spots, and the 2 forwards behind him are a little bit quicker in different areas. So you're seeing that sort of concertina effect. No one really having a dip here at the moment. Just trying to settle down, bring up the tyre pressures.
A change for Craig Dontis from Murphy Motorsport. He finds his way over to Erebus. Oh, Dontis ran wide and missed that camera that's sitting in the curb, and as a result he gets pinged for a curb hop.
Yeah, Hansford as well, so a few strikes on the curbs.
To be fair, he's in good company. He's not the only one. His twin brother also did it on that lap, jumping the curbs. They really are similar, aren't they? Oh, the back end steps out for Cedars and the Mango credit Holden, and as a result, a man who we fought with on numerous occasions last year closes the door. Ryan Hansford all over the back of the Commodore. We're not used to seeing Cedars running in Holden colours. He's finally made the changeover after finishing 2nd or 3rd too many times in the series. He's sick of it. He's hoping that maybe a Holden will reap some better awards. Man, a few guys having a wiggle through turn 8. But everyone survives. Down towards turn 9 we go, and up the inside. Not quite happening there for Nathan Pretty. So McNally, so far the leader. It's all about opening up a gap now, trying to save tyres if you can. It's just a qualifying race. So there's nothing really in it for Walton to make that move for the lead. He'll be on the front row anyway.
On the front row, yeah, Ryle having a big look down the inside of Walton.
Now, on the other hand, you've got Ryle, who has something to gain by making that move stick. Contact at the exit of turn 14. Oh, and another one for good measure.
Yeah, trying to move him over. Ryle's trying to maximise his entry into this first turn. He's clear.
You're a brave man for playing chicken with Chris Killer-Walton.
He's just got to put his head down now and just try and drive away from his... Got a 1 ute length break on him.
And that is the difference between starting on the 2nd and 1st row in tomorrow's sprint race again. So a nice move.
Yeah, he really caught him napping there, and you saw it was commitment from Ryle. Smoke coming off the tyre, cleared the brake, just threw the car at the apex of the last turn and got it done.
Oh, Miedeke up the inside. Another former race winner here back in 2010. Here we oh, Cedars locks the rears.
This is going to be 3 wide here.
Dodds, they're all going to pile up on him. He loses 1 spot to Hansford and make that 2 to Miedeke. So a mistake. And it's not going the way it did last year. He was the winner of race 1.
He's not a Holden guy, is he?
No, it's not suiting him at the moment. He's trying to say, he said the reason he wanted to drive a Holden this year is because he's sick of all the Holden drivers complaining about not having grip. He said, I'll get in one and I'll prove it that they're good. Well, he's still got a bit to prove. Does Cedars? We do have a Holden winning, I might remind you, though.
Yeah, well, McNally's Holden certainly got some grip. Great start.
It was the 2 Erebus teammates of Dontis as we're now riding on board with. He's got a great jump on his teammate in front of him in the Auto 1 ute. Bang it into 2nd. Man, he's so aggressive in these cars. Rip shift, gear shifters allow that. Man, McNally just creamed Walton off the start line.
Start.
Look at this crowd, and it's only Friday. Noel Edge at the back of the grid. Going side by side on approach down towards turn 1 with, I think that was Oakland's. And McNally will cross for the end of lap 3. He's just trying desperately to open up a gap, but it's going to be difficult with a guy as good as the kid behind him. A 2-time champ who won 3 rounds last year, Ryle Harris. And let's just see how he made this move again.
Here it is, then just threw it in there.
Did he get behind? Did he touch it?
Yeah, he touched him a little bit, but not enough to unsettle him. He just carried more corner speed. Ryle aware of the overlap here and just trying to move him over.
I was going to say, I thought that Walton was the guy who gave him the tap on the front straight back. I wonder if that was a little bit of payback.
Yeah, a little bit. You're just trying to make the move. Let him know that you're happy with the move.
Shades of Winterbottom and Slade on the streets of the Gold Coast.
But that's why they're called bumper bars. So it's,
it's kind of a contact sport.
It is. It is, for sure.
Lee Nicolau, who we're riding on board with, as he's working his way back through the pack. He's down in 23rd spot and will no doubt be busy as the killer is lurking. He closes onto the back of Harris, who would love to get his front row start back for tomorrow's race.
Well, if he's going to do it, it's going to be the last turn. Ryle will know it's coming.
It's exactly where he lost it last time. He's a bit sideways. So McNally's going to lead him home for another lap. It'll be the end of lap 4. And Walton's not going anywhere. The defending series champ, chasing the guy that won the 2 championships before him.
Yeah, and Walton's just a little bit loose coming off the corner. That final little bit of power down. Car's a little bit loose, a little bit sideways. You just can't get off the turn. And McNally's loose on entry. He's actually using how loose the Ute is on entry to gain his speed, especially through turn 8. It's really worth having a look at.
These three just have knuckled down and they're trying to stretch out that lead. Adam Marjoram, University of Western Australia student, doing a double degree, make that a triple degree in racecraft, I reckon, this weekend. And he's really gained, I think, from having a guy like Dontis in the team and also Kim Jane. They can compare data.
It helps. It helps having some solid teammates around you, someone to gain off. Could be just a confidence thing, comparing data, having a beer after you go racing and just doing some bench racing and sorting out what you need to do for the next day. It is a team sport.
Might make mention of Jared McLeod also, who's fallen outside the top 10 now. He's racing with a bit of a sore thumb. I'll give you a bit more insight into that one later. You need a strong stomach.
Killer having a bit of a look, had a little bit of a faint look. Ryle was ready to cover him.
Still thinking about it, but there's still not that much to play for. There's no points for this race, just grid positions. So you're going to be very careful if you are going to go throwing a move up the inside. Kim Jane's not had a great race. He started 10th, and here he is back in 14th, so he's lost a couple spots. He's behind the youngest guy in the field. There's a difference. Kim Jane, who's definitely not a 17-year-old, and
Ryle's had another go. Same manoeuvre again.
Wow, McNally caught napping this time.
Yeah.
And that was a great move from Ryle Harris, the 2-time champ, on a charge. He wants pole position. He was first here in 2009 in one of the races. Every year since, he's come second just about. So I'm pretty sure that he's sick of finishing second. He wants to grab more race wins. This might open up the door, though.
And Walton's looking racy too.
Oh, Walton.
McNally blocking, covering his line.
Oh, locking tyres, but everyone stays on track. This is really heating up. McNally looks to the inside. He gets caught on the wrong side. And now Ryle Harris is your leader. Tell you what, these boys are really brawling early in the weekend, considering there's no points up for grabs.
Well, the big problem with what McNally's doing here is actually driving off the racing line and getting, dirt on his tyres. So once you do that, it's defensive. You stop the guy behind you, but it takes you a lap or two to clean your tyres off and get yourself going again. So you get really careful where you do it.
It's also helping Ryle Harris.
Oh, yeah. Ryle's he's got the spinnaker up. He's setting head for home. McNally on the block. Walton's going to swing back up.
And this will continue.
Try and do the crossover.
Continue to help the race leader.
Yeah.
No crossover available. Left-hander comes up next.
Yeah.
Needs to try the wing cut move around the outside of Scott McLaughlin last year. Man, he just carries some great speed.
Carries the corner speed. He's obviously unbelievably good at modulating the brake pressure and just knowing what that inside front tyre will hold.
Oh, and now
Killer's up the inside here as well.
Time for Walton to do it.
Yeah.
So the race leader's been relegated from first to third.
Walton's very loose coming off the corner. Reese is going to get him back here. And then we're just going to see who's got the brave pills here this morning.
Hold on. Oh, had that been for points tomorrow, I think it could have ended very differently. Oh, gets the inside curb. The pressure is on. This is what it's like when you're mirror driving with a guy like Walton behind you.
Blue flag, I think he knows he's there.
Probably the wrong car for a blue flag.
Got it done around the outside.
Got it done anyway. And I wonder if he maybe hurt the steering here a little bit because he's fallen completely away, or he's decided to get out of it. It's not worth fighting for grid positions this heavily.
Yeah, I think he's got a damaged tyre, maybe a small flat spot. And when you're running offline like that, things happen with the car.
It's understeering terribly, Paul.
Yeah.
Look at that. He just can't get the car turned in at all.
He's got something wrong with the left front for sure.
And here comes Marjoram. Oh, the pole sitter's going backwards. He was leading this race not 2 laps ago. And he's crawling down the straight. He's thrown it all away at the turn 1 tyre bundle. No. He's going to be so disappointed with himself as now Harris, the major lockup down at turn 9. And the race leader's going backwards. So McNally back now in 7th as a result of clipping the tyre bundles, and Harris with a comfortable lead. Walton with a chance to try and close the door. And let's unfold all of this once again.
Yeah, well, the killer just got it up on the curb, carried the corner speed in, took the line off him. struggled to get it turned and get the power back down. McNally, the crisscross move, similar to what we saw Scotty McLaughlin doing the Volvo with Jamie here last year.
Is it worth fighting that hard for a front row start tomorrow?
Obviously, these guys think it is. You know, they put a lot of time, a lot of passion into their ute racing, and they're proud to be on the front row. Good thing to tell your sponsor.
Well, yeah. The sponsors love seeing him out there in the top 2 shootout. And unfortunately for McNally, he's been relegated back to 19th position. Definitely with some damage, and we're on the last lap. Traffic is going to play into this one, maybe. This is Danny Bazadzik. He's going to hop out of the way. Nice work from Danny. Oh, talking to him in the pits recently, he's been trying to get that weight down in the ute. He's been racing 70 kilos overweight in that car for the last while, and he's...
That's not going to help. No.
Trying to get it down as much as he can. Okay, can Walton close this gap and steal an unlikely victory?
No, I don't think he can. So Ryle's very smooth here. The way he's driving the ute, it never gets out of shape.
It was a rough year at the beginning for Ryle Harris in 2014, but to use another sailing term, he came home with a wet sail in a big way. 6 race wins from Sandown onwards after he made the change to Matt Stone Racing, away from Big Gun Motorsport, where he won his 2 championships. Walton has but 1 chance here if he can throw the same move that he copped a while ago. He's not close enough, though.
Not close enough. And the thing about Ryle's moves, the moves he did, they were precise, calculated. They weren't out of control. He was able to stop the car, get it turned. He's definitely the form guy here. I think the guy who wins the first race is going to be the man.
Checkered flag is out. The first race for the East Coast Bullbars V8 Ute Series in 2015 is over. And Adam Marjoram comes home for a series best third. Congratulations to him, considering it was not even a reverse grid race or anything like that. He's done extremely well. And look at this, McLeod home for a top 10.
Top 10, awesome job.
That's incredible. He nearly cut his finger off the other day using a circular saw. He's driving with a lot of stitches in that finger. I won't go into detail because it's grim. And he had to drive himself to the hospital.
I saw that. I thought he saw his Facebook post.
Oh, it was just awful. And he's managed to bring it home inside the top 10. That is a superhuman effort from the son of the 1987 Bathurst champion. Wow. But Ryle Harris, though, is going to take centre stage. And remember what we said, race 1 winner goes on to win the round. And every single round last time.
And the way he won it, he's definitely got the fastest ute here today, for sure.
His last race win here, 2009. And 6 years later, he backs it up. He's been finishing second in the last 4 years in the races here. He goes one better, and he'll earn himself, Paul, a front row start for tomorrow's race.
It's a nice place to be.
Best place to be. Craig Dontis also up there. He claimed a podium here last year in a different team. He and Marjoram, the first of the Holden's home. Mason Barbera, just 17-year-old, and he's there in 11th. That's a pretty great effort. Kim James started 10th, fell back to 12th. Charlie Kovac's a local driver. Also Jordan Skinner, local drivers here this weekend. And Reece McNally, the big story, started on the pole, would fall all the way back to 19th position. And I guess the good part will be watching him come back in tomorrow's race. Paul, thank you very much for joining us. I can't wait for race number 2 tomorrow. Let's get through what's been a busy race, and the highlights were fantastic. Talk us through this one. The first lap was a good start.
Yeah, good run here. Lucky that's his teammate, because if it wasn't, he probably wouldn't have given him the room.
Through the turn 1 chicane, McNally was the leader.
He was fast early on. He was super quick early on, so maybe his tyre pressures were just a little bit too high, and then faded towards the end. The other guys in the Fords were obviously a bit slower early, and then caught him.
You can watch cars rip through turn 8 all day. The mover, though, was Ryle Harris. A little bit of a lock-up, making that one stick.
A little bit, but he was well under control, realised it, just breathed off the brake pedal, threw it at the corner, and got it done.
That, to me, is Walton driving over and tapping him and saying, oh, I wasn't overly happy with that.
Yeah, g'day, mate, how are you?
He would go on to take the lead in a similar fashion down at the turn 14 hairpin. And that ended up being the best spot to make moves. The Fords are renowned for being quick around high-speed corners. Turn 13 being a high-speed corner, great way to set up a Commodore.
Yep.
So he would
switch back here.
Get the switch back, go side by side with Chris Walton, and clip the turn 1 chicane and hurt the suspension and steering. That's why he ended up going back through the field. And Ryle Harris, the kid, is back in 2015, looking to become a 3-time champion in the East Coast Bullbars Australian V8 Ute Series. And that in itself would be an incredible task. Raced in the Dunlop Series last year at Bathurst. and looking pretty strong in 2015. First race for the Utes done, and they'll be back again tomorrow. Looking forward to that. There's still plenty more to go here. Clipsal 500 Adelaide.